Okay, so here's a quick video of my Wii U collection as of March 2015. As you can see, I have a few amiibos. I'm a big Zelda fan, and Metroid as well. The Kirby belongs to one of my daughters who loves playing with Kirby on Smash Brothers. I have the Zelda Gold Remote as well as some Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peaches, which belong to my wife. And also have the Zelda gamepad. So let's get started. Alright, first game up is Nintendo Land. Pretty much a collection of Nintendo themed mini games. Not something I would normally buy or play, but it was alright. You know, it's good for the, playing with the family and whatever. Nothing too great. So that's my first one. Next up is the Mario and Luigi, New Super Mario and Luigi U. It's two games in the disc. As you can see, the Luigi brothers, which was pretty cool. Thought it was alright. Nothing too out of the ordinary with Mario, so it is what it is. Next up is Wonderful 101, which I thought was a good game. Pretty fun. It's a little hectic, and the camera view can get a bit, a bit crazy as far as like all the action and how far back it goes, but other than that, it's a good game. Next up is Pikmin 3, which I just recently picked up because I started noticing that the prices on these games were going way up. I mean, they were $80. I've seen them for $80 used, so I figured, maybe I should pick that up because, I understand that Nintendo stopped producing this, so it's a good game. If you like real-time strategy, it's a good game. Next up is Super Mario 3D World, which I have to say was pretty fun. I mean, I have two daughters and a wife, so we all got to play, and it was, pretty crazy, but we ended up beating the game, which was nice, and, it's a great 3D platformer, and a lot better than the new Super Mario Brothers U, which is a 2D, but I kind of like these 3Ds because to me it's just more fun. So yeah. Next up is the Wind Waker, which I originally had for the GameCube, but it was nice to get the HD remake. Beautiful graphics, and it's a Zelda, so it's going to be great. Next up is Donkey Kong Country, which was hard as hell. Me and my wife beat this together. One of the hardest games I ever played, but it's typical with Nintendo. They sometimes don't hold your hand when it comes to their games as far as Donkey Kong Country. I understand, a lot of people hated difficulty, but I kind of enjoyed it. It's been a while since I wanted to throw my controller like the old days, but this was a great game. Music was great, graphics, everything, gameplay. Definitely a must-own if you have a Wii U. Next up is Mario Kart 8. Pretty much, it was a good game. I mean, especially with the DLC that came with it. We're still waiting on the second pack to come out, but I thought it was a great game. Very fun. Great to play with my kids and my wife. Typical Nintendo, usually make quality games. So yeah, this was pretty fun. Next up is Hyrule Warriors, which again, I'm a Zelda fan. Not really into Dynasty Warriors. Never really played a game in that series, but again, anything associated with Zelda I kind of want to have, as you can see. And yeah, I go back with Zelda for, this was my first NES game, actually, The Legend of Zelda. So I go back to, the NES with Link and Hyrule and all that stuff. So, I needed to have it, and it's a good game. I mean, considering it's a, button masher, whatever you want to call it, but the graphics were great, and the gameplay was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Next up is Captain Toad. Now, I got this because my wife loved the whole puzzle in Super Mario 3D World, and just figured it would be something fun to just pick up and play and not have to, like, you know, get all into just one of those quick games that you can just have fun with. And she loves watching it. So this is a good game to have, and it was only $40, brand new. So needed to get that. Next up is Smash Brothers. Now, I've never really been a Smash Brothers fan. I never really played any of the games. I played Brawl because my daughters had it for their Wii. I played it a few times. Didn't really, you know, didn't really get into it. Like I said, I'm not a big Smash Brothers fan. I thought the Amiibo integration was great. But, you know, when I think of fighting games and that type of style, I mean, I go back to these guys, you know what I'm saying? This is what I grew up on, you know, pumping quarters on these machines. And, you know, as an adult, when, you know, I was able to afford it, you know, I had to get a machine, you know. So that to me is what fighting games are all about. As far as Smash Brothers, it's different. It's fun. I play with my kids, you know, and we have fun playing, and, you know, but not something I find, you know, that I'd go crazy over the way other people do. It's still a good game, a lot of content, but not a big Smash Brothers fan. And next up is We Fit You. Now, this is my wife's game. She purchased this. You know, she wanted to get this because she likes, you know, working out or whatever. She doesn't really need to, you know, she's small as hell, but you know, something she likes to do, exercising, whatever. So, you know, I don't really play this, so it's just part of the collection. So those were pretty much Nintendo first party games. I'm going to be going next with the exclusive Nintendo games, but not first party. So let's start with Zombie U. By far my favorite game on the Wii U. I've pumped about 70 plus hours into this. I've beaten it a few times, and I've been trying to beat it on survival mode. I mean, I got really far and then just ended up dying. So that was upsetting because, you know, when you die in survival mode, the game's over. So you could be far into the game and end up getting killed, and that's it. So, but I really enjoyed this game. A big fan of survival horror, and Zombie U is just, granted, the graphics were choppy and the melee weapons were none, you know, there were none other than the cricket bat. So, but I really enjoyed the game. For some reason, I just keep playing it. Definitely a must-have if you're into that type of genre. But this was a great game, still one of my favorite, and still holds the #1 spot as far as the most played game on the Wii U. Next up is Lego City Undercover. Now, not a big fan of the Lego games. I only picked this up because, you know, it was a game I wanted to play because of the open world sandbox type style. And, you know, it was funny as hell. The story's great. And, yeah, it was great. I don't have anything bad to say about this game. This game's good. And definitely, if you have a Wii U, you should pick it up. Next up is Bayonetta 1 and 2. Now, this game, first time I ever played Bayonetta. Never played it on the other platforms it was on. And I found this game to be extremely great. First Bayonetta, not as good as the second one, but still, I beat that one just so that I can start the second one. And I was dying to start the second one, which was awesome. Graphics, gameplay. A few times there was a bit of frame rate issues, but nothing to detract me from continuing or complaining about it. So definitely a great game. Definitely a must own if you have a Wii U. And so happy Nintendo got to produce this one. Next up is Rayman Legends. It was supposed to be an exclusive. I understand the other platforms received it later on, or the Wii U version was delayed so that they can all be released at the same time. Whatever the case, still a fun game. Me and my wife play this a lot. We need to get back to it because it's been a while since we played it, but I found it to be very entertaining. Again, this is the first time I've ever played a Rayman game, and I thought it was good. Next up is FIFA Soccer 13. You know, pretty bare bones, but I needed a sports game because, you know, I'm into soccer, I'm into football, so pretty much got it for cheap. So there you go. Also got the Madden 13, big Giants fan. This was, I think, the year that they won the Super Bowl, so I think in 2012, so, you know, needed to get that because I like the roster of that particular team. And also I love football, so like I said, pretty much decent game for the Wii U if you like sports. Okay, now pretty much we're getting into the meat of the third party, Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. I thought they used the gamepad tremendously well. Probably one of the best uses of the gamepad other than Zombie U. It's a really good game, but after playing it and beating it, am I in a rush to get another Batman game? Not really. Pretty much, you know, they're pretty much, you know, all the same with a few changes, so this is the only one I got. Don't know if I'll be getting another one, but definitely a good game. Same thing for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This was my first Assassin's Creed. I thought it was a great game. Played it through, beat it. Am I, you know, really interested in getting another Assassin's Creed since they come out at pretty much every year? No. You play one, you play them all. It's pretty much the same thing over and over again. But still, this one was a good game. Enjoyed it. Put some hours into it. Not really into online and stuff like that, so I could care less about any of that stuff. So yeah, that's it. And next up is Splinter Cell Blacklist. Now this game was very good. I understand the Wii U port didn't have certain things in it that the other versions had, and it was, you know, some might say it might have been gimped, but still a good game, especially if you only own a Wii U. I really had fun with this game. Pretty much, you know, I thought it was good. Played a lot of it. Next up is Call of Duty Ghost. Not that big into first-person shooters. You know, I find it can get kind of boring, especially, you know, playing the missions and whatever. When I was playing this game, I was dying to beat it already because I just wanted to move on. I don't really play online. You know, you hear about the stories of the campers and the guys just hiding in bushes or whatever. I usually play with my daughters because they love playing these types of games, so I play with them whenever I can. But pretty much, you know, your typical first-person shooter, Call of Duty, you know, nothing more to say about that. Next up is Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut. This game I found to be very interesting. I like the options to have, you know, answer questions or make different choices. Like I said, I'm not really that big into first-person shooters, but this was a bit more interesting than, let's say, Call of Duty, which is kind of generic, especially nowadays. And this is, again, a good game. Need to get back into it, but my backlog is pretty full. So, yeah. Next up, I only got this game because I'm a big fan of the TV show. I knew the game sucked, but I got it anyway because I found it for cheap. And that is The Walking Dead Survival Instinct. So pretty much, you know, it's your standard, pretty generic zombie game. I can tell they really rushed this one. But, you know, it's just, I knew what I was getting into, so I had no expectations, and I got it cheap. So I put it in the collection just because I'm a big fan of the show. So, yeah. Next up, another game that was ported over and gimped, but I kind of have a fascination with sniping, so that would be Sniper Elite V2. Another okay game. I mean, you know, it is what it is with this. I found it to be a little, you know, entertaining, and, you know, kept my attention. I'm still so about this game, but it's I guess it's good to have, you know, variety. So next up is Resident Evil Revelations. Now, I just recently got this I would say a month or 2 months ago. Just recently beat it. Found it to be very fun and addicting, and the story was all over the place. Couldn't really follow it. So, but the gameplay was pretty fun. I kind of like the third-person camera view. Not that it was third person as much as like an Assassin's Creed or anything, but the over the shoulder view I found to be, you know, a lot more enjoyable than the first person view. So definitely a good game, one to get if you don't have it already. And finally, I have here Watch Dogs. Now I know this game has sold poorly on the Wii U, especially since it was delayed, and I could see why. The game I found to be extremely boring as far as the story, and the gameplay was kind of like ho-hum. I found myself straying away from doing the campaign and pretty much going on suicide runs, like, you know, I'd shoot civilians or blow up cop cars and have cop cars chase me throughout the city. I found that to be more entertaining, but then after a while it got pretty boring, so I started going back into the campaign. Just nothing, you know, great about this game at all. It's okay. It's a nice open world or semi-open world game where, you know, just, I don't know, I kind of got bored with it. I stopped playing it for a while. Now I'm going back to it. So just nothing great. And again, you know, Nintendo's lack of third party, but you know, the third party games, they're like, you know, not really a big fan of a lot of them. I mean, they get hyped up to death, and then when you play them, you're like sort of disappointed or done with them after a month or two, and you know, can't really go back to it once you beat it. So yeah. And finally, I have some eShop games. I have what do we have here? We have NES Remix. I have the original Metroid, Super Metroid. I see the Metroid Trilogy, which was awesome. Shovel Knight, DuckTales, Nano Assault Neo, Child of Light, How to Survive, Punch Out for the Wii, and Dr. Luigi, which my wife kind of wanted, so pretty much standard stuff, nothing great. But like I said, you know, that's my Wii U collection. They do have some games. Could they use more variety? Yeah, but you know, I'm a big Nintendo fan, so you know, and I really don't have much time to just be playing games 24/7. So as far as the droughts go, I'm pretty much satisfied, because you know, it takes me a while to beat a game because I play only a few times during the week, so I'm pretty much okay with the droughts. But I could understand why someone else might be pissed off. But pretty much that's it. So hope you enjoy. And those games were pretty much, all of them, pretty much decent to good or even great. So until next time.